never fails. Something doesn't look quite right, but it's all good. I'm glad to be here with you guys tonight. Happy Thursday, y'all. It has been an absolutely beautiful day here in the DC metro area. Just a little scary. I mean, I think we hit close to 80 here. Not quite what you would call winter weather, huh? But nonetheless, it is what it is. Again, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. Hey, V. Jacqueline, on such a wonderful day for you. I'm so glad that we have made it to Thursday. And today we are continuing with our series on career goals. We started last week and we are going to go ahead and continue in our series. We are broadcasting a couple different places tonight. So, for the first time over on CTR Media, maybe my second time live, I want to say, hey, that I'm broadcasting directly to you. How's that on YouTube? How's that? So, we're over on YouTube, we're over on LinkedIn, we're also on Instagram here, and we are on Facebook, of course. So, thank you guys so much for joining me here tonight. Again, we are on week 2 of our series on career goals. Again, starting out the year strong, making sure that you have all of the things that you need to live that life where you are thriving, both personally and professionally. And we have honed in right now on focusing on career. And this is the second week. We've got 2 more weeks of it. Last week, we talked about making sure that you beefed up your soft skills and making sure that you understood what it was and how important it is to have soft skills. You know, those are the things that you don't necessarily always put on your resume, but you have to, definitely show them in order to be able to communicate well on your job, in order to be able to organize well on your job. Thank you so much, Dr. Derica. Just to be able to function well and to extend what it is that you already do. All right. So the thing that you're adding to that skill set that you're probably going to put on your resume, that's what we talked about last week. This week, I want to talk to you just a bit about how it is that you can use your hobby to help your career. Now, for many people, having a hobby is really kind of how they started their careers. Oh, again, they just started, decided they were going to go ahead and continue with something that they absolutely love, something that they're passionate about. And that's the kind of thing that you want to have in your career anyway. You want to be sure to incorporate something because you are only going to enjoy a career that you feel that there is some purpose in, that you are fulfilling some purpose in, that you are having, or that basically helps with some of the things that you are passionate about. So you want a career that you're going to enjoy. And that is exactly how some people started out with a hobby and turned it into careers. I mean, how many times have we heard about people even leaving jobs that they have trained for a number of years in their lives because they've decided that although they trained for a certain profession, it really wasn't the profession that they necessarily desired. I mean, I think of someone like Cake Love who left from a legal career and started baking cakes and opened up a successful bakery. I mean, there are just a number of people that we can point to who basically thought of a hobby that they enjoyed and said, you know what? Somebody in the world needs this other than me. I enjoy this. It gives me life. I feel as though I'm thriving when I'm doing something like this. Why can't I combine that with my career to be able to do something I love and monetize that and to do well in it? So what we're basically going to talk about today, I mean, that's just one piece of it, of course. But say you're not, working your hobby as a career. How is it that your hobby can still help your career? How is it that you can use that hobby, all right, to help your career. So, one of the things that you may want to do is include that in your resume in some way. It is very, you have to be very strategic in including things like, hobbies that you enjoy in your resume. Of course, your resume can't be heavily populated by all of your hobbies. So you have to know where to put it in and how to actually use it to help you to progress in what it is that you're doing. Depending on the position, add a hobbies section to your resume. Include it only when it appears relevant. So you really can't just put it in your resume because you feel as though, well, I like that, so that needs to go in. You have to make sure to show some relevancy to what it is that you're trying to get the person on the other side of that resume who's reading it and making a decision. You have to make sure that whatever you put in there is relevant to what they want to see, is relevant to some kind of skill set that's going to help them to solve the problem they want you as a new employee to be able to solve. So, what else are you going to do? Go ahead and mention it in your interview. Some questions that interviewers will ask you, employers will ask you, they really do provide an opening to discuss your hobby. When they ask you, what is it that you do with your free time? I mean, that's a very common question that you're going to get on an interview. That is your opportunity to talk about your hobby. And if you're going to talk about it, make sure that it is showing a part of your personality that is definitely going to be very appealing to the person who is interviewing you. Make sure that if it brings out a skill set that you know that they need on this position, make sure you kind of slant it to highlight that as well. That's definitely a very good way of being able to kind of interject that hobby in there and have it help you in getting a job. And if it is a job that you already have, you can also find opportunities to make sure that you show that talent, you show that hobby in what it is that you do, what it is that you bring to the table with your job. What else can you do? Put on a show. Not literally, okay? When I say put on a show, basically just exemplify that hobby in some way. But who knows? It could be very handy in something like the Office Talent Show or something like that. But that's not really where I was going with this. But just make sure that you are in some way kind of displaying that, just, casually. And that will often strike up a conversation. People will notice and say, well, I noticed that you do this, or you have a certain knack for this, and you really are good. How did you get good at this? What is it that you do? Another opportunity to interject. Well, I really learned how to bake because I started out, baking just for my friends, and it really turned into a hobby. And now I run a bakery. So again, different things that you can do to show what it is that is important to you, how it is that you really kind of bring some value to what it is that you already do on the job. And, when you get an opportunity, go ahead and display that talent, that hobby, that, skill set that may not necessarily be something that you always display at work. Find ways that you can, absolutely incorporate some of these things. I'm glad to see the comments coming in here. I never thought of this. Dr. Harwell says, yes, you are absolutely right. Pamela is watching. Thanks so much, Pamela. I'm so happy to have you over here. B. Jacqueline, thank you for watching as well. I greatly appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. I know that you'll get some nuggets that you can take with you. Be sure to like and share this. Share this so that other people will also be able to get in on this and perhaps get some tips on what they can do with their hobbies and turning them into careers or helping to accentuate what they're doing in their career. Okay? So what else can you do? Of course, I just talked about this already. Sharing with your coworkers, just things that you do anyway. You're going to be able to share with your coworkers. I talked about that already, not necessarily putting on the show, but when they see you doing things, and just little extra things that you may do for the office. I don't know, for the office get together, for the monthly birthday get together that you may have. Just find different ways that you can kind of introduce it. If you're doing something after hours, of course, it's a lot easier to talk about your hobbies then. And of course, as you get to know people, develop relationships on the job, you can definitely kind of pull some of your hobbies in there as they come up in your conversation. What else? Yeah, we talked about putting in the resume to get the job. Well, there may also be a place for you to go ahead and put it in your bio if you, for example, are running your own company, or you are in any type of environment where you have to distribute your bio to a client to gain additional work, or basically to let them know what they are getting in you as you begin to work for them or you perform projects for them. Whatever activities you enjoy, if there's any way that you can pull that in to show them, I do something outside of this specific skill set that you've hired me for. And I use this hobby of mine, I use the skill set that I've developed in doing this hobby and actually helping me as an entrepreneur. And it has helped to further me in what I do. Perhaps because, I developed relationships along the way that really helped me in understanding the different demographics that I may have to work with. It could be any number of things that you have learned basically from a hobby that you've picked up. Now, here is one that absolutely will help your career. Using that hobby and creating some side income with it. This is what most people use the hobby for, okay? If you're talking about using it in conjunction with your career in some way, many people use it for that reason. Again, the example of the baker, starting out just baking for friends and turning it into a job where, they're baking on the side and consistently getting that extra income. That also could happen. I know frequently. I think of a gentleman who used to bake cookies and would bring cookies in for any, birthday celebrations that we had. Well, everybody absolutely loved his cookies. The cookies turned into something that he started doing for our coworkers for children's birthday parties, for anniversaries. That is what helped him to, again, develop his own business on the side. And from what I understand, he is working predominantly doing that now and not necessarily in IT, which is where we originally met him. So that is an idea. Something else. People frequently start things in interior decorating. They start by just decorating their home and realizing, I really have a knack for that. I enjoy that. And somebody else invites them to do something for them. They start doing that on the side, and that eventually becomes something that they do as a career. And the same thing with often starting out doing what you do in your career on the side. You may be consulting in a certain field that you already work in, and you start doing it on a smaller scale, and then realizing, I could really do this for myself. I have the skill set, I have the knowledge, I can go ahead and pull that out. I know that I enjoy doing this on the side, outside of work. Yeah, I do enjoy doing some of these things. Let me go ahead and do them for myself. So that, again, is another way that you can pull that hobby into something that's going to advance your career and something that's going to make you an extra income, right? What else? The best leads tend to come from friends of friends and acquaintances, your LinkedIn connections as accountants, and your leisure pursuits could help you to meet more people and definitely extend what it is or the area that you already operate in. So, your hobby could actually help you in extending that network. Extending the network. How many of you can say that if you have not experienced this personally, you know someone who was able to get a job based on someone or some information from somebody that they met, an acquaintance, perhaps a friend of a friend, someone that they met while bowling, someone that they met while on travel, and they sat down at breakfast and discovered that they had similar skill sets. Frequently, actually, most often, recruiters like to get employees who are referred from another employee, so an acquaintance on the job who refers someone. And why is that? It's because, particularly if this is a trusted resource that's already on the job, someone who is already bringing value to the position, they are trusted, that it is trusted that they will bring people in of similar caliber to themselves. And for that reason, recruiters and companies, period, love to get referrals from people who are already there, already on the job. Again, this could be someone who is a family member. They don't always like to, hire family to be in the same location on the same job, but who could be a friend, or it could be someone that you've met along the way. So, your hobby can definitely extend your network. That extended network, of course, can work in so many different ways to bring you additional business, to lead you to a new job based on someone else who has met you and is referring you to a position. Okay. What else is it that your hobby can do? Your hobby, of course, will help you to achieve that balance. Having balance is what's going to help you to be able to thrive on your job, to do well in what it is that you do. Constantly going and not really creating an opportunity for you to have some downtime, okay? For you to have some time where you just give your brain a rest, where you go out and you do things that may even be mindless, that are fun, that releases endorphins, that make, those happy endorphins, things that will take away the pressure and the stress that you feel on the job. Having that downtime is crucial. Perhaps just some time to rest. So many of us in this world that is so hurried and chaotic don't get the rest that we absolutely need. So, taking time to create that balance is very critical in what you do, all right, to be successful on your job. A hobby is definitely a great example of that downtime that is needed, or a way that you can spend your downtime, a way to create some downtime, a way that you can absolutely pull away, recoup, as I always say on the weekends, and rejuvenate so that you can come back to work rested and ready to thrive come Monday morning. All right. So that's it, guys. Okay, so we're a little over 15 minutes, but it was good stuff, right? It was good stuff. Stuff that we can definitely use, things that you may not have thought about, things that you haven't really thought about, um, haven't really given a whole lot of thought to how your hobby can actually make you better in your career. It can create a new career for you. It can help you to actually perhaps move from something that you're doing now into a career that you enjoy, a career that may give you more purpose, one that will help you to thrive and not just survive in your day to day life. All right. So that's it. Again, thank you, everybody. I love the participation tonight, and I love your comments. I greatly appreciate them. Thank you so much for listening in tonight. Again, this was week 2. I will be back next week. Thought for Thursday is 15 minutes. Just think about it. You spend 15 minutes a week in, paying attention to these series that I'm bringing to you. Spending just 15 minutes a week and getting just an abundance of information that's going to help you to develop personally, going to help you with your job, going to help you with your life overall, and for you to live, um, you know, a life where you're freer, a life where you really indeed feel as though there is purpose and there is meaning, which is going to make you have a happier life, whether that be personally or in your career. All right. So that's it, guys. Go out, as I always say, knowing that you are just enough just as you are. Be confident in who you are, knowing that you are unique. Only you have the thumbprint that you have. Go out and touch something and make a difference with it. Somebody is waiting for you as the answer. Somebody needs you to provide the information that they need to thrive. They need to hear your story. They need to hear your journey, which may be similar to theirs, but not just like it. You may have found the success piece to it that they are waiting to hear about. All right. So go out, make it a great one. All right. Thanks again. Bye bye.